Alright. Here we are, just about to start. It's probably going to take me a while to get it all set up, just to make sure that it's all working. So this probably won't look too good for the recording, but gotta make sure the audio is working. And there it is. Alright, this is the first time I think I've started a live stream in 4 whole years, so I'm not too sure how exactly this is all going to go, but I figured this could be a fun little thing to do, just instead of making a lot of videos, to rather instead just sort of make these sort of weekly live streams for people who just sort of want to see the building process, and then on a more scattered out basis we can put in some of the actual updates videos that sort of show a little bit more, instead of just the small little updates. Instead, the updates videos will have a little bit more meaning. So for this video, it's probably going to be for this video. For this live stream, we're just going to go through and just do a little bit of building. I don't expect it to be all that long. Usually the previous ones I did were no more than 2 hours, so this one will probably be even shorter than that. But I think I'm going to be just sort of building another one of these houses on this neighborhood here, sort of filling up the space, and then hopefully by the next updates video we can just sort of show off all of it. But I guess as a good way to sort of start this out, I can go over some of the things I built recently. Here's the first house. This one just barely managed to fit it in here. Didn't have a lot of space for it, but managed to keep it relatively small. And hello to all the people in chat, I see you there. Here's just a small little house. None of the interior is built yet, but I think it looks pretty nice on the outside. It's a bit different because it's not incredibly excessive on the details, but I think it turned out pretty good. It's very minimalist, and with these trees in the front really helps it out. And I think over here we're just going to have 2 more houses, one right here, maybe one on the end. If it is going to be just one on the end, we're going to have to make it a little bit bigger than the others, but I think that could be a nice touch. Maybe we'll just do 2 if I can't come up with an idea for a well-fitting, large-scale modern house right over here at the end. A goat's enclosure for the zoo. I definitely do need to get around to that. I think someone actually put in a goat in one of the zoo enclosures so far. I was looking around there recently, a couple days ago, and I think someone managed to sneak in a goat somewhere in one of the main enclosures, but yeah, I gotta get back to that. I'm just not too sure where to put it because the main area is mostly already filled out. It's only out by the aquarium where there's space, so we'll have to try and figure that out. But over here, I've added this thing. This was a bit of a bold decision. I wasn't exactly expecting this. There was just such a small amount of space in between this road and the water right here that it wasn't going to work for a house in any way. Even for an incredibly small house, it just would not really work. So I decided I'd put kind of like a little dock area here. I'm not quite too sure how to describe it, but just sort of space where we'll put some boats in. I just put in one little, I guess, dock, a pier. That's not a pier. It's way too small for that. But yeah, I think it'd be quite nice. Put a couple of sailboats on the side and a couple of small motorboats. I think that could be quite a pretty addition to have right there. And we'll have a couple more of those going across with a couple boats there. That could be quite pretty. I think so far it's looking pretty good. And what I've did for the ocean floor here, the way it's just sort of slowly, smoothly going down, that was a good addition. It's not really something I've done for the remainder of the water here. Over here, this was where it's I had to clear out the space just by exploding it all, and while it does give it somewhat of a textured look, it definitely does look like I used some TNT on it. Meanwhile, over here, this is where I switched over to bedrock, and I can make it just all that land disappear, but as a result, it's kind of lost any of the detail that I kind of like for it. Well, yeah, I guess we can sort of get started with some of the building. I do not exactly have a plan. I sort of spent most of the time before this live stream sort of preparing it and sort of figuring out how it all works. So I guess we can just sort of go through and start building it. Or actually, the first thing I was going to do is I was actually going through the maps over here towards the spawn area. I was looking at it, and I realized that I built far beyond how far the map went. And I figured it needed a bit of an upgrade, so I've been going through, I've been scaling up the maps, trying to figure out this whole new map system, which probably was updated a couple years ago, but I built this whole map around 4 years ago, and I basically just got these 3 in. This will be something I'll have to return to later, so let's just clear all this out. I hope the mouse clicks aren't too loud. That wouldn't be too good. But yeah, let's sort of just go over here and just start building something. Normally I would have a little picture to sort of go off of for inspiration, or sometimes just entirely copying it, but don't really have that, so I guess we can just sort of get started trying to find out what sort of color we're going to use here. Alright, let's see. Usually I have a bit more time to think about this, but now I feel like I have a bit more pressure on it. Maybe we can try building something, I guess, mildly familiar. Maybe something that I've had previously in this world. I think I got a good idea. Alright. So this one's going to be another black and white house. I think the last time I built this, it was out of white wool, so it really was a while ago. And what else am I going to need for this? Well, of course, glass as well. And I think I use like spruce wood for it. That's always a good addition. And what else could we use? I don't want to use black concrete because that's a little bit too dark. Maybe black wool? Just sort of a bit of a reflection of how the previous house used to look. I need to figure out where that is. Here it is. Alright, I think I remember the general shape of this house I'm trying to do. I'm not too sure it's going to work on this sort of thing because this house that I'm imagining is quite flat on the front. But I think it'll be fine. This house managed to work, so it can't be that bad. So I think on the side, we'll build a little spot coming out here. I think that's far enough. Don't want it to be too far up there, but I also want to make sure there's enough space for a backyard. Because over here, this backyard ended up being a little bit too narrow. Wasn't really able to fit anything in there. But yeah, I think... yeah, it's definitely not going to be that deep in there for a house. You can go a little bit closer to there. And then I think we sort of had one space here, then like the front door was here, then there was space for a garage, and then a slight small area around the other side. I think that's how it went. And I guess I just sort of start building and sort of see where it ends up, because that's usually how it is. It's usually in the front of the houses where I actually have some sort of inspiration in terms of like what I'm going to do, and then for the backs of houses I usually just sort of fill it in however I think it just kind of ends up. Like this one over here. I just had a reference for the front, which is why it sort of looks the way it does, and on the back, while it's not nearly as good, it still is like actually kind of competent, so as a result, it's just I think I just need some basic spot to start out with, and then it'll sort of go somewhere after that. Yeah, so I think 2 windows here would be good. For some reason I'm imagining something different, but I know I'm going to get the general shape, but all the specifics are going to be a little bit different. We're going to mind the sort of stairs on top of the windows just because this is a bit more of a modern house, going for a more of a smoother look to it. Yeah, I think it went in here. I think this is the design that I'm remembering. So if we go through here, I think something like this. Or is that too far in? No, that'd be fine. Or is this looking too similar to the other one? Is that what I'm imagining? It might just be that one that I'm imagining. No, I think it'll be good. I guess I should just try and figure it all out and see. I don't think it'll matter too much if it looks all the same to some of the others. And then this will come out, and this will be where the garage is, so we can get some material for that. Some of this. I don't know why I'm thinking that, but I think it might be able to work. Should that be wide enough? 7? Make it 8. Actually, no, it needs to be an even. It needs to be an odd number, so we can put like a light on top of it. That'll be fine, because we're gonna have something off to the side of it. Yeah, this will be fine. Would that look good there? I don't know, it's a bit weird putting a window in here. You're trying to figure out, do I want it to look good from the inside or the outside? Would that be good enough? Maybe we should put it like that. Or maybe we can just, I got a better idea. Let's make it like a corner window. Like that. There we go. This one will look good. There you go. Now we just need to build up all of this and basically see how this is going to look for the front, for the first floor at least. I know the idea with the second floor, it's going to sort of have some balcony going across, and I think that'll be pretty good. That's what we're going to use the black concrete for. It's gonna look really nice there. I feel like I should put something here with this spruce. I think it's a bit too wide. Should I put like a second door or maybe a window? That would be a good idea to put like a small little window there. Just a small one, maybe like 1x2. Yeah, it should be a little bit higher up. Yeah, it'll be 1 block higher. We're gonna have a little, I guess, front porch kind of thing going. And then usually I make the garages around 4 tall. That'd be good. I think this is not too bad. I think we're doing pretty good with the front yard space. I think it went far enough out there. And then see if we can just sort of get most of this stuff filled up. I'm not too sure I'm going to be able to fill in this entire house. Maybe I could start working on the interiors of one of these. But I know if I just make the interior of one, I'm going to feel compelled to go through and finish all of them, which would easily double the length of this whole neighborhood project. But since they are so close to the spawn, maybe it would be a good idea. Would it be good just to make this 3, or should I make it go all the way up there? Let's see. Now we can keep it there. Maybe this side can just be sort of 1 floor, while all this other stuff will be going up to the second one. That would look good. Alright, now let's get to some of the detailing on the front, just to make sure all this is going to be looking right with the scale of each floor. Should we go around like that? Yeah, that'll be a good idea. I've been wondering about this, making this live stream for a while, but I wasn't too sure exactly how entertaining it could be. I think I mostly just made it because I think whenever I upload a video, even after it hasn't even been that long, like maybe 3 or 4 weeks, I get a lot of comments sort of saying that I'm back, as if I was like gone, when mostly it was just because that's just the amount of time it would take in between videos. Because I got more stuff beyond just this channel going on. So I thought these sort of weekly live streams would be kind of a good way to fill up the channel's contents in between the updates videos, so that way I can sort of make them whenever I kind of feel like there's something important to sort of show off, or like one big project I can make for a good video, because most of the popular videos on my channel aren't exactly me building or showing off just these small things. It's things like the zoo or the shopping mall, where sort of this one large project that I put a lot of work in, and finally showing it all off. And I think that those do best for video as well. Sort of this more just more tedious building stuff that can still be interesting to watch if you're interested in exactly how all that works. So I think this would be a nice addition to have to the channel. I'm thinking of maybe just doing it once per week, similar to how I used to make videos once per week. And then just sort of keeping the live streams up on the channel for maybe around 4 weeks or something like that, before I sort of move them into some unlisted, move them into unlisted, but keep them available on a playlist. So if you actually do want to like watch some previous live stream, you would be able to go back just through one of the playlists, but it wouldn't fill up all the channel's content. I think that could be a good idea to have there, and it'd be a good way to sort of make the updates videos a bit more interesting. They'll be a bit more infrequent. They're not going to be happening all the time, but when they do happen, they'll sort of be focused on these individual things. So for the next updates video, instead of just showing off the first half of the neighborhood that's not completed, it's going to be showing off the entirety of it while it's all completed. So it makes it a little bit nicer for a tour, a little bit nicer of a showcase, where instead of just sort of just talking about what I expect to happen in however long it would take to actually get that done, it's instead all actually completed right there. You can see all of it. So yeah, that's kind of the whole idea behind starting this little live stream right here, just so I'm able to sort of manage to do both, because I do like having somewhat frequent content on this channel. I don't want to completely abandon it, even though it isn't my biggest priority in life, but still want to make sure that the content going out on it is the same quality that I sort of always tried to make for it. There we go. Let's see, how's this looking so far? Just put in the driveway and the little front path. It's think it's looking not too bad. This driveway, I think, or this garage may be going a little bit too far out, because the idea I have for the balcony might not be exactly like that. Or maybe it can just go a little bit farther out, and like the actual, yeah, maybe this wall doesn't continue onto the second floor, it moves forward a little bit. Yeah, I got an idea. Maybe I should just sort of try building it out first, just so I can get an idea of what I'm actually trying to do here. I think I've built a similar house like this one on my channel before, but I had to take it down just because I needed to make room for something else. Oh yeah, how'd that get replaced? It's in here. So I think it would go like this. Well, is that where the first floor is going to end? Let's see, it's going up 4. That's where the ceiling would be, and then this where the first floor for the second floor would be. And we'll sort of have it go out all the way to here, and maybe stop right there. Is that too wide? I think it might be a little bit too wide. We can just make it a little bit smaller. I don't think that would look too bad. If it's like slightly not symmetrical, maybe make it to the halfway point right there of the garage. Or perhaps even shorter, because it still looks a little bit too far out there. There we go. Maybe we can keep it like that. Yeah, it'll look better once I actually manage to build it all up. And we'll put a little bit of a roof on for this, or a little bit of ceiling here. I think I need something else over here. I feel like this side's looking a bit too empty over here. Or maybe that's just sort of the distance between the two floors and are making it look a little bit too open. See, if that's where the ceiling's gonna be, maybe I should put something here then. Maybe that will look a bit better as just sort of filling up the space. No, I already had the one in there, alright. Maybe we put these two here, and then on the second floor we'll put another set like that. Yeah, this one's did go down there. Yes, so this is where the next windows would go. Alright, and let's see how this one's looking so far. We managed to build it up just the slightest bit, but usually even after just the smallest bit I add, it gives me a lot of ideas to change it. Like right now, that's looking a little bit off right now. Usually works better when I have some sort of thing to go off of, because I kind of managed to match the shape instead of just what I'm picturing for the interior. It does look a little bit off, but I think we could fix it. I think we could fix it. I got an idea for that. Maybe with like this is kind of like some sort of stylistically kind of acts as some sort of a support pillar, right? Or it goes up, and then for the roof we have it slightly slanted going down there. So that way there's a lot of detail over here, not so much detail over there. It's kind of like the slanted roof is giving it kind of that feeling that it's slightly being compressed on one end. I think that could actually work out pretty well. I think that would be a really interesting idea. I think we might actually go through with that, and it would actually sort of allow this to happen and actually look good. So hopefully we can just sort of continue with that. Not too sure how far I'm going to build into this live stream. Usually one of these houses on just the outside would take sometimes an hour if I'm really trying to make it look good. So for this one, I'm not even too sure how long I've been going so far. Not too sure exactly to see how long I've been recording for. Would there be? No, the recording time isn't showing because it's a live stream. Oh, I know, I see it. 21 minutes, 31 seconds. Okay. So yeah, I still got some time to fill all this out. Hopefully I can just sort of get the front, and then towards the later part of the live stream we can just sort of go through and maybe try filling out the maps, looking through parts of the world that maybe on the next live streams we'll go through and give a little bit of a more attention to. There we go, let's bring this out. Is that enough space for the balcony? I try not to make these too big, especially on a smaller house, just so I can prioritize the interior. But I'm not too sure exactly how that's going to work out. Actually, yeah, we can. I think it wouldn't be too much of a problem. We don't need to make a lot of space for it, because it's not like I'm going to put too much in there. Put that like that, and then a glass barrier going around the outside. Should it be? Yeah, you can notice the glass is there. With the ray tracing, the glass is made incredibly transparent, so I'm not too sure if that would be noticeable, but I think it's still looking fine. And even if we put the white concrete behind it, hopefully it still sort of stays the same. Hopefully it still remains to look good. I think this bit over the garage is mostly... No, it can't be too empty. If we're going with that sort of a, sort of artistic look to it. So this is where it's going to start. So we're going to put maybe a wide window, like right here on top of it, and sort of have it fit in with the shape of the roof going over. Looks something like that. Would that look good? Yeah, it's going to go a little bit higher, I think. Something like that. There we go, that's going to look good. Then we can just sort of start building this across, just sort of build it up all the way, and then we can sort of cut into it when we start to make the roof of it. It's going to look quite nice. Now, I'm not too sure how many people are watching this right now. I've noticed some sort of things not lining up with the concurrent viewer numbers and the occasional the comments in the chat. But I'm not too sure if that's a matter of just the time of day. Previously, when I did the live streams, I actually did try lining it up with like a good time of day to do it. So it was sometime in the mid-afternoon on a Saturday in the middle of summer. So you really can't get more available for that. But I think now, mostly just making these. Maybe I might change the time. I was thinking sometime around Thursday, Friday, or some other night. Maybe just once per night, or once per week, one night per week, having one of these live streams. I'm not too sure if it'll be entirely consistent. I know I like to make promises on this channel, and I never really seem to go through with them, but that's just with the videos. With these live streams, they really don't take any sort of preparation, so it's not really like I need to wait any bit of time before I can make them. I can just sort of do it whenever, just sort of start it up, and if nobody actually like sees it while it's live, I'm still going to keep it up on the channel, so people can just sort of click through it if they want, just to sort of see the updates as they go by, or maybe they just want something in the background. I keep trying to get the quartz stairs, but I already have them. So yeah, I think that could be a good thing with the live stream. I'm going to try improving them as I go. Right now it's just sort of showing me building it, but I think I got some small ideas for later in terms of what I could do. Just sort of add some more, I guess, stuff to the live streams to not make them just entirely me building. I got a few ideas, but I'm not too sure if I'm going to be able to actually make them work out. I don't think it should be too difficult. I managed to figure this whole thing out in less than like 30 minutes, so I think actually adding some more detail to live stream shouldn't be too bad. What for door should I use? We'll use acacia. I wonder how long it will take for people to notice this. I don't think anyone's noticed it in the video, but that's just because I keep the HUD off. I think I got one comment about it before, like 2 years ago. But since then, actually not. So yeah, I think someone's definitely going to notice it on the live stream sometime. Or maybe not. Maybe it'll take a while before someone actually tries to give something as common as this an insane amount of attention. But let's see, what's the roof going to be? I think I should go with another... Should it be black again? I'm not too sure exactly how dark this one's looking, or if that would be a bad look to have for it. Let's put one. Should I just sort of be safe? Maybe use gray concrete. It's sort of in the middle between the cyan stained clay, or the terracotta is what it's called, and somewhere in between that and the black concrete. Just sort of use gray concrete and sort of bring it over. I don't want it to be too obvious that it's going over at an angle, so maybe we can make it at increments of like 5. Maybe that would work out. We're going to need to make this go out quite a while. 3, 4, 5. There we go. think this will be quite interesting, but if I bury it in trees, it'll look just fine. That's kind of my idea on all the other buildings that I've been working on here in this neighborhood. Just sort of needs to put some trees in front of it, a lot of decorations around the outside, and just they usually end up turning out just fine. Is that going out far enough? Let's see how it's going to look. I think it's going out a bit too far. Could be, but I think it's actually, if I make it a little bit thicker, then I don't think that'll be a problem anymore. And it also needs to go out a little bit more. Maybe if I put another layer on top of it. I want you to check after the live stream to see how loud these mouse clicks are, because I sometimes notice them in the videos, but I usually don't think they're that much, but that's just because it's just only clicking it once or twice. In this live stream, mouse is no more than a foot or two away from the microphone, so it's probably quite loud. Maybe I'll need to try and fix that sometime later. I hope the keyboard's not. I switched the keyboard out for the quietest one that I have, but this is the only mouse that I got. We got that there. It's not looking too bad. Maybe if I just add another layer on top of this, maybe not make it look so blocky, so much like Minecraft. Let's see. How does that? It's very much taller than the other buildings here in the neighborhood. Maybe we should just make it a little bit longer. Maybe that's just what I need to do. I think, yeah. I think that's what I'm going to have to do. So I just need to make it, instead of 5, make it 7. Make it 7. I think this is how... That would be better. It's almost... It would be slightly taller, and just with the size of the roof, it's really going to look much taller. But I think it'll be fine. I think we're going to need to make this one shorter, because it's not really making it to the other side. Just have it on like that. Now it's only 6 now, right? Yeah, so we're going to need to add another layer there. Going to have to adjust that window to make sure it all fits now. And then this one can go just one block outside, just because the direction that it's moving in, it can hang over a little bit. Like that. This is definitely a bold design that I went for with this house. I knew it was going to be something unique because I'm not actually going off of anything. But I don't think it's all too bad. Maybe that color is a little bit too similar to the black concrete we used for like that balcony there. May need to change that. Maybe switch it out with the cyan terracotta. That's it. That look any better? Nah, maybe it will. We can try later. Try one of those world edit commands that can change it, but I don't have the color ID saved right now, so we gotta go and try and find those. And let's figure out this window situation here. Let's put that in there. Is it really gonna look like that? It's not going to look good from the inside. I just know it's not. It's really not going to look good from the inside. Maybe it's really coming down to, you know, from which perspective are we going to make it look good, because that's that's not reflective of the shape we have for the roof. Something like that? No, I think the only way to make it look good from the outside is to have it like that. And that might be it. Alright, I suppose that'll be good enough. I guess we'll have to keep it like that. I'm not too sure exactly what I'm going to do for the inside of this. We're going to have to come up with something really something that justifies having a 2x5 window on the actual floor. Definitely going to be something unique, not exactly anything that I've had to work with before, but I'm also not planning on building the interiors right now, so it's really not something I need to worry about. And we just sort of leave it there. As for the exterior right now, it's definitely looking a little bit plain, but that's just because I think the property is looking a little bit plain right now as well. I mean, with this house over here, the one that I just sort of built recently, off camera. You probably didn't even notice this, but this entire wall only has these two small windows in it. Meanwhile, everything below it is just entirely empty. But it looks actually really good. I think it's a nice sort of way to have that all set up. So maybe that's all that this house needs. Just a couple of trees in the front. It's going to need to be a different type of tree because it's definitely turning out to be a different type of house. Definitely is turning out to be a different type of house. Let's see. I may need to make some edits to this off camera simply because it's going to require a lot of variation to make sure this is actually going to turn out to be something actually kind of good. I keep looking at it trying to figure out what exactly it is that I need to add to it, but for some reason it's just looking slightly different. Probably just because I have no vision for it. Maybe it actually isn't looking all too bad. It's looking a bit too square. Maybe this part's a little bit too. Maybe this is the problem because it's looking a bit too large for the actual size that it's supposed to be. So if we make it maybe a little bit more thin on the top, maybe then it would actually look good. I do think that was actually a better idea because I think that roof was just sort of giving it way too much. Definitely did not need to have such a massive part for the roof. I think this is making it look better. It's still not quite perfect, but I think it's a good start. As for the back, it's probably going to be a similar kind of blocky design to it. So I guess we can sort of just fill in this side room, make it look as proper as possible. I think we're going to continue with the sort of this roof design where it sort of goes over like this, or shall we not? It's going to be going down. Yeah, maybe we should be just one block below. There we go. Man, if we have it like that, is that good enough? No. It's still not. Maybe we can just make another green roof. Usually whenever I build those, they never really turn out wrong. So maybe we can actually build it like that. And then have it right on top like this. And then we already got grass. And we just sort of build that in right there. And this goes out. The floor is going to be here, so maybe we can have like a little door somewhere around here. A couple windows as well would be nice to have right there. There we go. Yeah, that's not too bad. I think that's a sort of a good way to go about it. Is this roof going to be a little bit too low? I think it might be. I guess that's sort of the reason why this is going to be a short windows, because it's going to be a short ceiling as well. Let's see. I'm trying to figure out the best way to make this work. If I put the window like that. Ooh, no. These windows are going to be close to the ground as well. Well, it's supposed to be the small side of the house, so having a couple small windows like that is sort of what you're going to expect to have there. We have that there, and then we can have a small sort of stone step, cobblestone step going down like that. There we go. That's looking fine. And then this wall's looking a little bit empty, but that's perfectly fine because it's the perfect spot for a tree. So let's find some sort of tree to go for. Kind of want something unique, some unique kind of tree to have here. Spruce. I don't think I've used spruce in this neighborhood so far. Out of any of the trees that I've used acacia and dark oak, aside from the typical oak and birch that I typically use. So maybe spruce could be an interesting sort of thing to add here. It's definitely going to be a unique shape for this house here in relation to everything else in the neighborhood, but I think the spruce kind of works well with just the sort of lights and darks of this house, sort of the way that it turned out. We could put a Alright, this is going to be either a really good or a really bad idea. Should we put some large scale tree here? I would kind of want something small. Sometimes the trees there that are that size typically don't go too high, but sometimes they go excessively high. I'm not too sure exactly how I should go about that. I kind of want the ones that sort of spawn naturally, the ones that are like that one but are higher off the ground. Is that what I should go with? We'll just build this. Okay, there we go. That's not the worst. It's a little bit too close to the house where I wanted it. And I hope it didn't break any of the blocks. No. The leaves don't break any of the blocks. That would just be the wood if it was to actually go through that. But yeah, it's a little bit too close to the ground. We're gonna take this down, let the leaves despawn over the course of the next 10 minutes or whatever, come back to it later, and maybe put the same tree just a little bit farther away from the house, because it didn't get as tall as I thought it would, which is a good thing, but it's definitely not at all the shape that I wanted, or at least the shape that I want in relation to the proximity of the house. So yeah, let's get the typical sort of things that I do for this neighborhood. This isn't how I used to build forests on this world, but it's probably the best thing we can do for just a small amount of space that we have right here in between. It's not really important to fill it in as realistically as you probably would find it in a typical real-life situation. But now that I know the general size of the house, I can start putting in some of these trees here. Let's put in... Oh yeah, it's best to put in the large-scale oak trees first, just to make sure that there's enough space for everything else. So let's get the grass and the glass. There we go. And yeah, we got the bone meal. Alright. So let's see if this one's managing to work out. Or maybe I'm going to have to build it a couple blocks away, because sometimes... Oh no, that's perfect. Let me put one down there, and move to the next one. Usually you don't have to put them too close to each other to make them like sort of actually fill up the air in terms of the leaves, but yeah, just putting in a couple. I would imagine just need a couple more in this one, and also a couple more along here, just because it's along a major road. I kind of wanted to have some sort of separation in between them. Oh wow, these trees are actually growing quite well today. Usually they don't act like that. Yeah, that tree's actually doing really well. It's gonna add some good shape to this. Or shall we go through and build all the intricate stuff? I think last time I built in all of the trees and I didn't put in anything nice. That is just a small little detail of like some old cobblestone wall right along through here. Not too sure if I can continue it along because I don't want to make this too small. Maybe this is just where it ends, and then we can just sort of fill this in with a whole lot more dense selection of trees right along here. Yeah, I think that would be a good idea. Just sort of set all of these up right along here. And let's see if this would be enough. Can we put one more in here? Yeah, probably best to put one like right there. Is that too close? Nah, it'll be fine. Alright, and then we just fill them all up. Oh. Yeah, that's not bad. Trees are doing much better. Usually you get ones that are like half the size of that. It's like the shortest possible tree you can get for one of these particular larger ones. Yeah, I was doing good for almost all of it, but of course there's going to be at least one. So put that there. Let's just try it again. Clear out some of the leaves because they're not going to go away otherwise. Just need to clear out some of them. And that's almost better. It's good enough. I don't really like how it's just sort of slightly going down like that. It doesn't look too normal. But maybe we can put one of these trees right here. Well, okay, yeah, this is the one I was sort of fearing that was going to happen. That's not exactly what we should have there. Am I gonna have to turn on TNT explodes to get rid of this, or can I get rid of it this quickly? The other one wasn't too bad, and if I could just get one of those, that would be fine. But I just know I'm not. Maybe this was just one of the few that just spawn way too high up off the ground. That's what just sort of go through. Take this down. And maybe try again. Oh, why does it put podzol all around the ground? I didn't notice that before. Covers the floor in podzol, even after it's just planted here. Should we try with another one? We're gonna have to get rid of all these leaves first. I don't think I have fire spreads on or TNT explodes, and it'd be too much of a bother to go through and fix all that, so let's just take out as much of what we can here. And yeah, we're approaching around 42 minutes here, so I think this will be a good enough length for it. In terms of these live streams, I don't want them to be excessively long. I think having a live stream going for too long is would just sort of make for sort of a bad video, because I'm going to just sort of save this on the channel afterwards for a little bit of time. So when people come back to it, I don't want them to have a 3 or 4 hour video to look through. Instead, just something small where I'm just sort of devoting an hour or two to building something, sort of having a look, at least somewhat manageable. So if someone actually did have the patience to watch through the entire thing, great. I'm not gonna have the patience with this tree, because I don't think we're ever gonna get the one like we had out here. It looks like all the trees are the leaves are almost all cleared out. Yeah. Maybe we can try it again. I'm pretty sure this one's going to be precisely the one that we want, just despite the other one that's over there. Usually that's just the way it turns out with naturally generating stuff here in Minecraft. So let's build it far enough away from the house, maybe a little bit farther away, because that looks like similar where I planted it last time. Is that good? Yeah. Oh, we're gonna get podzol all over here. That's gonna be awful. Hey, look at that. That's a little bit too much. A little bit too much, but I think it's just because of this little detail at the top. If I get rid of this and just fill it all in with leaves on top, do you think it would be good enough? It definitely looks not the best. It looks a little bit wide, but should I keep it there? I definitely can't keep this tree up here. That's not a good idea. Let's just fill in the rest of this for now. The rest of what I can fill up for this. Usually I just sort of scatter around all these different types of these little assortments of trees and just sort of fill them up. Oh, that's a particularly large one. Maybe we can get another one somewhere to that right over here. I don't have the glass with me. Let's fill that in. Hopefully there's another one. No, of course not. It's just going to continue with just a slightly inconsistent pattern with the trees there, just because it just typically ends up like that. Maybe this can save it. Yeah. I think the tall dark oak ones typically do save it. Oh, that's another tall one. No, it's not. Oh well, it's looking good enough. Oh, a couple acacia ones. This look good. You gotta put an oak one in here just to make it a little bit denser. I don't want a clear view of the road from the backyard of this house. Yeah, that's another big one, but it slightly fixed the inconsistent little dip right there. At least a little bit. That tree, yeah, don't worry about it. It's not gonna stay there for that much longer. We missed the birch one. Gonna need to get that one again. Hope this isn't getting too close to the sidewalk. It's a little bit, but that's just, it can be fine. That won't be fine there. This one's not going up. Something in the way, probably this. Some of those right there. Yeah, there we go. Perfect. Alright. And then we can just sort of scatter in a couple other ones. I don't want to spend too much time just filling in all these little trees right here. Give them some time to grow. If they grow, that'd be great. But if not, I'm pretty sure they'll all be filled in quite enough. Or we can just sort of go through and press each one just once instead of having to constantly switch through them. Oh, that birch one's not going to grow. Maybe one block over. Yeah. Strange, are just the slightest little changes will somehow be able to make it work. I don't think that one's going to go up. Probably something in the way. Perfect. Amazing I was able to catch that. And I think there was one more back here. Yeah, birch tree, yes. Perfect. Alright, and then, of course, one little round on the floor of it, just to make it look somewhat better than just a super flat world. What I don't like is all the excessive amounts of flowers that spawn in whenever you use the bone meal strategy with just filling in this. So sometimes I'll have to go through and in the especially excessive parts I'll have to just clear that out. But for right now, that's looking close to good enough. Put a couple more in here. I think that'll be fine. Alright. So we got through the surrounding of this house right here. Going to need to take care of that tree. But in terms of the front of it, it's definitely looking a little bit unique, a little bit different, but I don't think it's entirely too plain. That's sort of what I thought it was going to turn out to be, sort of at the beginning of it, but I think that slightly slanted roof kind of gave it at least a little bit of something. Maybe we should change the color of it, because I do think it blends in a little bit too much with this balcony part right there. Maybe try using the spruce wood for something, because we got it as one of the main building ingredients, yet it's only reserved to that. So maybe we'll have to change it, do some sort of editing to it. Not too sure exactly where we'd put it. Maybe we can have like some sort of wood chimney. I don't know, that's probably not a real thing, but something sort of going up the front here. It would sort of line in with the curve of the wall, the flatness of this wall. So yeah, it's the curve of the ceiling, the flatness of the wall, and then we just sort of change up the color a little bit. Maybe that would be a good idea. But yeah, it's looking a little bit plain, but definitely not the worst thing that could have come out of sort of building it in this, just sort of spontaneously, not really having a plan for it. Usually it just helps us sort of have something to start out with, because, you know, while the fronts of like houses like these may have been inspired by something, the back part, which still looks just as fine, is mostly just, you know, improvised as I got inspired from the front. So usually that turns out working pretty well. For these next couple of houses, we're going to need to get another sort of idea for it. I think because this house right over here sort of ended up not being as wide as I sort of expected it to be, I think we can put another house right here. It's going to be... I'm not too sure if we're actually going to be able to put a house there, just because it's such a small amount of space there. There's not really going to be any sort of yard, but maybe it doesn't need to be in the back. Maybe the house can be here, and we can have some sort of separate backyard or garden over here to the side, and then we have another one, sort of the big house that we were imagining. Put that one right there, and maybe it doesn't even need to be modern like all these other ones. I mean, it could be. It would keep the theme going, but since we have space, I think we can sort of make it slightly offset from the road, and then give it some kind of, I guess, palace or a castle look, as it's sitting right out here in the water, with like a little bridge going over to the islands. That would look quite nice. This area, I quite enjoyed the look of it. I built it, you know, over a year ago, probably close to 2 years by this point. But I think it's quite a nice addition to do some like the natural landscaping here over here. I think that'd be a nice little addition to have there. Hey, Bryce McDivitt, welcome. Looks like we're getting to the end part of the live stream, so yeah, I think like I can expand it a little bit more, just because it looks like we got a couple new people here. The number says 2 concurrent viewers, but I'm not too sure how consistent that is, if that's the actual number. Just because the chat has been a little bit more or less active than that number has said before in the earlier parts of the stream, but Yeah, for this live stream, I mostly just sort of went through and built the sort of front of this house here. Never got really around to the back or the inside of it, but that's something we can do sort of off camera. And then maybe by the next live stream or the next video, we can sort of have the remainder of these two houses built over here. It would also be a nice idea to put in some of the boats right here. Then that would be a nice addition to have. I just need to figure out exactly what size of these boats we're going to put here, because that will sort of determine how many of these little docks I'll have going out there. But yeah, for this, I guess that's most of the building part that I'm going to do. Still for the live stream, I'm going to continue. I think one thing I wanted to do was fill up this map area over here. Something I had set up before, but it was getting a little bit too small for like the actual scale of the world I've been building. So I've been wanting to fill this up at a little bit more of a scale where you're actually able to see everything, because previously this road took up the majority of it. Like around here where you got to the theater, this was the actual corner all the way up there. So I've been scaling it up just a little bit, so that way you're actually able to see everything. Maybe we can fill in this part where we're actually working on. Maybe we can add that map and a couple over here around where the stadium is, because I think that would be a nice thing to add here, just to be able to see how the stadium looks from the map, because I haven't actually seen it from there. It would be a nice addition, as well as the theater and everything in front of it. So yeah, I think that would be a good thing to sort of end off the live stream with. Just sort of film that in. Yeah, see. I think I remember how to build these large maps. You need an anvil and paper. Quite a lot of it, I think. And we need the empty maps. Perfect. And yeah, we need to go to the beyond this street, the street that goes in front of the museums, and then yeah, we'll add those two there. Maybe we'll start out with this one. I think that'd be a good idea to start out with. So let's take these, fill them in there. All right, let's get over to it. I think the map sort of ended right around here where we were actually building the house. So if we go and fill that in, I think the map defaults to like a certain shape. It's not, however many chunks wide and tall. It's actually sort of in the same kind of scale as the other ones. So if we fill in this one, in terms of the actual map, we would sort of be like on the far right side. But if we put it in here, take that, and I think we need to make it to level 2. Now you can see we're actually over here on the far right side, precisely exactly as I expected it to be. Alright, then we just fill all this in, just sort of go around, and I guess in the meantime, in case other people weren't around when I sort of mentioned the point of these live streams, because this is something I haven't really done in a long time. The last time I did a live stream was I think August of 2017, and I think that was just for some survival world that I had at the time. I haven't actually sort of built on a live stream since like a couple months before that part. So yeah, it's definitely been a while since I've done one of these. I think the last time I did a city building live stream, it was when we were working on Visby, the other city of Goattville, and I streamed for like an hour and a half, maybe once or twice, and I don't really remember anything about it. So I don't really think it was anything too spectacular. I didn't really expect this stream to be too spectacular. Because it's just some random night. With the previous live streams, I like set it up as some sort of event. So like I had the sort of notice set up for the previous like day and a half. But for this one, I literally just decided to start streaming today. I had the idea to sort of get back into it because I thought it would be a good idea to sort of keep people updated on the channel with what's going on, without just spamming out updates videos like I did earlier this year, that really didn't cover all that much, where I was just sort of reviewing the same thing on each video and just sort of speculating how the future of all the builds would turn out instead of actually showing it. So I think these live stream videos would be a nice way to sort of take care of that, sort of make it look a little bit better. How's that looking? That island's looking really good. In terms of the general shape of this lake, it's looking not too good. I've noticed just how like the streets and all the buildings and all the natural stuff that I've built has looked fine, except for the water. just the water does not look natural at all. I've really tried making this city in the early stage of it make it look kind of like Manhattan or something, where it's like that general shape of like a narrow islands, but yeah, that's definitely not going to happen anymore. It's definitely very straight edge. Definitely, and it's going to continue like that for another couple hundred meters out this way. Yeah, it's definitely going to look like that. Alright, so the next step is going to be going up to here. And the next step also is going to be purpose of these live streams. That's what I was talking about. Yeah, we need to make another map, but that would be when we get there. In terms of what I'm going to do on these live streams is pretty much exactly what I've been doing here on this one. I'm going to try adding some more to them by the next times I do them, because I plan on making more, not in a couple days, but maybe next week. Maybe it'll sort of be a weekly thing, where I just sort of go live for an hour or two, do some building on whatever I'm working on, and then when it comes to make the video, it can be an update of everything that I've done, or it can be kind of like a live stream highlights or something like that. If I can't be bothered to record a video so far to the point where I would edit an entire live stream highlights video. I think maybe that could happen if the live streams get a little bit more, I guess, interesting, because usually they're just going to be me building, and people can stop by if they want, just sort of check it out. Why is this? Oh yeah, of course I have to make the map first. So yeah, let's get all that together before I go into the next bit of discussion. There we go. Are we in the right spot? We should be. I think the next map started over there by the stadium. And yeah, I'll just be building mostly on these live streams. Nothing too crazy. I'm not going to try and make it so that it's like the best, most interesting thing to build. But I'm still going to try and make it somewhat entertaining. I'm going to be talking throughout the most of it. I'm not going to be sort of just letting you be able to watch it. So I still kind of want to make it in the same kind of style that I made to the Goattville building videos I made all those time back. I'm making so many references to all parts of my channel that probably no one would remember, because they're so specific and not they don't really stand out. But yeah, it's going to be something similar to that, where I just sort of build, but instead of it being for 10 minutes unedited, it'll be for like an hour or something unedited. But I'll leave the live streams up on the channel for around maybe 4 to 6 weeks, just so you don't actually need to watch the live stream in order to understand what's going on. If you want to watch it later, it'll be up there, but I'll move them to like unlisted and keep them in a separate playlist when that 4 to 6 week time has gone up, and so that way they'll still always be up there, but they won't fill up my channel entirely all that much. I feel like this map was supposed to actually be something, but no, it's literally just grass. Yeah, that's not good. Well, at least it'll tell me where this next map is, where the baseball stadium is. And yeah, that's what the live streams are going to be. Got a couple ideas of what I can add to them. I'm not too sure exactly how to integrate them. I'm pretty sure I can figure it out. That's probably what we'll try doing with the next one. This live stream, the real test was just to see if it would actually work. To see if if anyone would actually show up, because it is a Friday night. I don't expect a lot of people to show up. The previous live streams, I did them at a time where I actually expected people to be there. Of course, we need to make the map again. But yeah, for this one, it was mostly just going to be fun, just to see how I go through the whole building process and actually sort of get me to build for at least a little bit of time on a bit more of a consistent basis. Usually when I build, it's just for these short little 4-hour spans a couple times per week. So instead of just doing a little bit of every day, I'll just sort of do it one big spot on one day, which sort of makes the videos seem a little bit more stressful than they probably should be. If I just do a simple live stream once or twice per week, I think it'll be a nice lovely way of handling both of that. This map seems a bit too big. What size is it? 2 out of 4. Okay, that's what it's supposed to be. I guess I just expected the stadium to appear bigger on the map, just because the maps aren't too big to the point where you can't see the individual details, but you can't see the individual blocks like you can on the 1 scale or the level 1 or level 0 maps. So yeah, was there something out there? Oh no, that's just the road. Okay. Usually there are these random builds scattered out way beyond the city that I just completely forget about sometimes that other people have built. And I was just wondering if that's what that was over right around there. My cursor can almost hit it. And yeah, this stadium is actually looking pretty good from the top view. Once we add in all the roads, it's really gonna look nice. I definitely do need to get back to the stadium. It's been a couple months since I've worked on it, but the problem is when it comes to working on the stadium, there's really only one thing to work on, and that's this left field interior. And I spent most of the time of the no, that's the right field interior. I built a left field interior for the majority of the time that I actually built the stadium, and it took so long just to fill in all this space here. And I know that, like, while it's all planned out on the left side, so I know what I'm going to be building over here on the right side, I still just need to sort of copy it to the other side. And I know if I don't copy it exactly, especially with the infrastructure part of it, it's just not going to line up, and it's not going to end up working out right on in the same way on the other side. And this baseball stadium is going to be like one of the greater works of the world to this point. So I really want to try and do what I can to make it perfect, just because it's such a massive project. Similar thing to what I tried doing with the theater. And while the theater is looking like absolutely perfect, and I would love to get back to work on it, it's just to the point where like all the interesting stuff is done. And now all that's left is all the hallways that go around. I'm not too sure about all that. And yeah, I think those were the two maps we needed to do. And it's over here. I think maybe we can just sort of save this. Teleport self to... What do you think that is? Negative 100? Let's say negative 50. 50, negative 50. Are we close? We're almost close. It's right up here. I wonder why it said negative 49.5. That's interesting. Alright, and let's see how these end up looking. There's one there. Gotta save the item frame, so we'll put that up there, and that goes there. That is looking really good. That's looking really good. Originally, I was just planning on doing those two maps, but I think while I'm still here, I really want to see how that zoo is going to look. I think that would be nice, so to do that. But that stadium's looking really nice there. I think that's quite nice. Wonder how that's going to look in terms of the entirety of the city. Once all that's filled in, if it's going to stand out a lot, or if it's going to blend in, or just going to look really nice from there. I think it'll be nice. All of this area is just going to be more skyscrapers, similar to the way it was over here. It's not just going to be repeating skyscrapers. I'm going to try adding something interesting to it. Like I think I'll sort of, fill it in like some sort of lowercase n shape. I don't know how else to describe that right there. And then right here in the middle, I think right along this road, in the middle, right around here, I'll build a cathedral. I've been planning on building a cathedral in this world for like 2 or 3 years now. And while I did build one like 4 years ago, around the time when I did the first live stream, I haven't actually gotten around to building another one, like an actual proper one. Like that first cathedral I built was amazing. It turned out really, really good. And it's just on the other side of the world, so no one ever gets to see it. And it's not actually perfect. Like there's like the main part of the church, and then there's nothing else. There's nothing typically that you would expect from a cathedral. Like there's no separate rooms. I don't even think there are bathrooms in that cathedral. So it's definitely not the best. I'll need to definitely improve on that in the next one. But I've had some ideas for what I could do for a cathedral, and I think it would be really nice. And I need to fill in the map. There we go. Let's see. Is this going to be high enough? High enough. Yeah. Yeah, I think we are almost close enough. I think just for good measure, we should go a little bit farther out here. And here's the goat. If the one person still is here, I was asking about the goat. This is the goat that someone placed in the zoo. Just over here, within all the sheep, cows, and other world creatures. I think the first time I came around to it, I actually headbutted and killed one of the chickens, but I guess it hasn't gotten to the rest of them. But yeah, we definitely need to build a goat enclosure. There's been a lot of things added to Minecraft recently, and I definitely should get around to filling all of that in. It's been over a year since I've last worked on the zoo, and the aquarium turned out absolutely beautiful. Absolutely love the way that looks. I think one of the Goattville updates videos I did on that performed particularly well, somewhere around 2,000 or 3,000 views, so I think maybe it would be a good thing to return back to. It seems like people really like it, and I really liked it when I worked on it. But usually that's a sort of a summer project that I do. I think usually that's when I sort of get the best ideas for it. As the few things I tried building into the autumn on the zoo are some of the more blander parts, ones over there in sort of the back corner. Not really too happy with the way that those turned out, so I think it's just a sort of a summer thing. This is a summer type of build. Alright, and let's see. Is this good? It is good. Let's fill out the rest of this. I wonder how this zoo is going to look in terms of the map, because looking at the zoo from like an aerial view is really nice. I really did a good job with laying all of it out, so I guess it'll look pretty good with that. It looks like this road is lined up absolutely perfectly with the layout of the zoo. That's quite nice. And we'll fit in the aquarium, and I think that's the top part of the other map that we already have. But yeah, this zoo is really quite something special. Definitely my favorite build, I guess ever in Minecraft. Definitely my favorite one in this world so far. So yeah, I think would be a good thing to come back to, because it's still incomplete. Even this main part that seems complete is still rather incomplete. I don't have a lot of the administration areas or the underground stuff all filled out. I did have a whole sort of underground system plans to sort of get in between the enclosures that I never actually got around to, but while I don't think it'll be that difficult, it's definitely going to take some time. Probably at least a week of typical building, maybe even more than that. But I think that'll be a nice thing to come back to. And here's the view of everything that we need to do with the stadium. Just a sort of lingering reminder, and just sort of a still thing that keeps me away from it, just because it looks so entirely open there. Because on the left field side, I'd spent so long filling it in, and now on that right field side, it's just looking so empty. It's like I'm gonna have to go through all of that again, and that was only like 5 or probably less than that. I think the last time I worked on the stadium was like August, and I still feel entirely exhausted from having to work on that other interior side, so definitely going to be a while before I get back to that. And let's see, I think we're definitely far enough. Let's put another map down. Actually need to set the map. And 2 out of 4. Perfect. We'll keep it there. Perfect. Alright, and yeah. Right in the corner. Another perfect for that one. And over here, this is the train station. I guess we're doing a little bit of an impromptu tour for the sort of the final part of this. The train, I guess not really a train station, like the rail yard is a better way of describing it. It would have been 4 years ago, exactly. It was around December of 2017 when I worked on that. And I built this. It looked really nice, but I never got around to it just because it's like a rail yard. Not entirely the most interesting thing, but it does look really quite beautiful. And I think one of the main reasons why I stopped working on it was because it wasn't too interesting, but also because I wanted to wait until until Goattville was a bit more spread out, so that way I can actually have the rails connect to like different parts of the world. I think at the time I expected by 2021 to have several more cities established than just the current 2 or 2.5 that I have right now. And we're going to need to definitely start working some more on that if I want to get back to that rail yard. And since it's so close to the spawn, it's another sort of thing I want to get filled out, even just the slightest bit, because even all the terraforming around it is still incomplete. And with that, we have this done. Lovely. Let's go to the command and let's go back to the start, so we don't have to fly all the way back. And we are hitting an hour. We're over an hour by this point, so I think now would be a good time to start to, I guess, wrap all of this up. I think it's been a pretty decent live stream. I didn't expect it for me to be able to consistently speak for this long. Usually my throat starts to hurt after around 10 minutes of recording, but this time we managed to go an hour more than that. And this world is looking absolutely beautiful. yeah, managed to just perfectly fit in there. This is literally like the farthest north I've ever built anything, is the polar bear exhibit up there, and it's fitting in perfectly there. I don't think we'd be able to see the farm. That's all the way down there from when we fill in the rest of these maps. I think that'll be a nice sort of addition to have for the next video, if I'm able to fill in all the maps. If I can fill in all the neighborhood. Yeah, that'll be nice to sort of have there. Because previously this map really wasn't worth anything because it was like not updated for such a long while and it really wasn't useful for anything, but yeah, that's looking good. It's alright. I think get rid of all those maps. We have them saved there, so we can just sort of do the pick block to get them back. And yeah, I guess that'll be it for this live stream. Not really too certain how to end these things. Normally I have a sort of the default phrase to go for the videos, but I guess now, I guess just sort of quick little look over the progress. Not too sure when the next live stream is going to come, most likely a week, if I feel up to it next week. I certainly hope to, because if I sort of managed to keep myself feeling up to it for doing it this week, so sort of spontaneously, I think by the next week it shouldn't be too difficult, because I kind of got a better expectation as to what to do and you know, how to go about with these live streams. And yeah, that'll be it. And yeah, lovely live stream. A big thank you to everyone that stopped by, or the two concurrent viewers that we have right now. Really nice to have at least a couple people here. Wasn't expecting a massive crowd tonight, but yeah, still quite the success. I'll see you on the next week's live stream. Yeah. Goodbye, everyone.